All right, Fresh, let's go to our next game of the week, our next game this week here. It's the UCLA Bruins. Both of these teams are 3-0 as well. Shows how great the Pac-12 is right now. UCLA's 3-0. They're traveling to Utah, Salt Lake City, or no, Provo. Salt Lake. Salt Lake. I was right the first time. What am I doubting myself here? Utah is a 4.5-point favorite at time of record. Over-under is set at 51 points. Chip Kelly, there was a lot of speculation. Who is he going to go as quarterback for the season? Chip Kelly goes with the freshman, Dante Moore. Kid is starting off. He's been electric in the first 3 games of the season, especially for a freshman. Coastal Carolina, San Diego State. All right, whatever. We'll kind of avoid last week's game. But kid's got 7 touchdowns to 1 interception. He's been absolutely fantastic. You got the 2-headed monster. He's got a nice backfield back there for him. Now comes the test. Because remember, Fresh, Utah has not lost a home game in 2 years. So this is going to be a huge challenge for Chip Kelly and the UCLA Bruins. This is gut check time for them, because if UCLA wins this game, all of a sudden they're a big-time contender. They hold the win over Utah. But really the question to me is when is Utah going to get Cam Rising back? And with how Nate Johnson's been playing, do they make that move?
Well, the first thing I looked at was UCLA quietly 3-0. Obviously Moore did not start the opener, but he kind of worked himself into the lineup and just been flashing in practice and just gradually gotten better and better and better. And when you start producing and you're getting the NIL money and you're a highly recruited player, you can't keep that talent on the sideline very long. But now this is his first real game against a true legit defense. What is Kyle Whittingham and that defense going to show him that he's never seen before? They're going to come out there and bring in different looks. They're going to have late movement, late dropouts, late blitzes. They're going to give him a lot to look at, a lot of window dressing that's going to create confusion. Because the offense for Chip Kelly is the same. That's not going to change. It's the running backs. It's a lot of movement and shifts on his own end, and the quarterback being able to be mobile. Whittingham knows this. He's faced it before. He faced it when they were at Oregon. He's facing him here now, last year and the year before. He understands what Chip Kelly's trying to do. You have a freshman quarterback, his first ever road start. I expect to see them come after him with a lot of different unique, exotic looks and try to make him feel uncomfortable or get rustled. He's going to have some timeouts. He's going to see some things he's never seen before. You're going to see maybe taking sacks he shouldn't take or making bad reads in the passing game early on. It's going to take a while for him to get comfortable. Obviously, Chip Kelly's going to try to develop him. They've had 3 games worth of film, but so is Utah. And they've been probably looking at this ball game like, what can we do to really bring different looks? Maybe do we drop everybody in the box? Do we drop everybody out? Do we bring strength? And what can we really do to mess with this kid that he's never actually seen a true, legit defense in front of him? And he's going to see that on Saturday. That's what I want to see. But the way that you help that is you go to the running backs. And you mentioned the pair. Right now, UCLA is averaging 270 yards a game, which is 3rd in the nation on the ground. Carson Steele come up from Ball State. He picked up right where he left off last year there in the MAC. And then TJ Harden, they're combined 476 yards on 55 carries and 4 touchdowns. But there's also a third running back who's got himself very involved, and that just gives you more flexibility. And that's Anthony Adkins, 15 carries, 122 and a touch. So the 3 of them, if they get heavily involved in the running game, help keep the down distance like we just talked about in the last game, manage the flow of the football game. If you can run the ball and your offensive line can get downhill, the exotic looks aren't going to be as disparaging or confusing because you're running the ball down their throat. It's not put in the quarterback's hands to truly have to make a decision once the snap is made. Now, pre-snap reads, you're going to look to the sideline like usual. They're going to see it. They're going to know if they're going to run or not. Is Chip Kelly seeing something new, or is he getting confused? Is Dante Moore's the same way? Are they all on the same page? If they are, this could be an exciting football game for them. If he does get flustered early and they can't run the football at the line of scrimmage, it could be a very, very long learning lesson for this UCLA young offense. Because last year, DTR, Bobo, Charbonnet, etc., they had veterans on that offensive side of the ball for the Bruins. They don't have that this year. This is going to be a big test. How do they react? You mentioned Cam Rising. Is he ever going to make the debut? I got a feeling this was kind of the game they were hoping to get him ready for. We still have not heard word if he's going to be playing or not. They've been able to survive 3 football games. They're much more battle tested with a win over Florida and a win at Baylor. So the quarterback play, they've been able to assess what they have as the backups, going to get offense to build around them, to fill in the gaps. The defense has played at a high level. If Rising comes back, the team will be better. If not, I think they're very confident in the quarterbacks they have. They've been able to learn and develop and play Utah football, which is nasty, rough, line of scrimmage dominance, offensive line, defensive line, run the ball, play action, tight end, force turnovers. They don't need to be flashy. There's not 4 or 5 receivers not throwing for 1,000 yards a ball game. All they care about is winning. You know what? That's why Kyle Whittingham is much more like an NFL coach. I don't care what the scoreboard says. I don't care if it's I win by 70. All I care about is winning. Winning is what matters. In the NFL, winning matters. It doesn't care if it's pretty or not. You get a W at the end of the day, you get a W. I think we kind of lose that in college football, where winning is winning, and that you keep winning 1 week to the next. That's all that matters. They still have to keep playing you, and you have to play them and win the football game. I don't care if you win by 70 or 1, you still won the ball game. That's what Whittingham, I think, preaches to the program. So we're going to come in here, we're going to win the football game. We're going to win it one way or the other. We're just going to win. That's all I care about. That's all you care about. That's all the fans care about is just a W. We'll be ranked wherever we're ranked. It's just a number in front of our name. That's what he's been preaching to the program ever since he got there. And I got a feeling that's going to be a big case in part of the preparation this week. Is we just win the ball game. I don't care how pretty it is. The Utes are favored by 4.5. It's at home. We saw a flashy offense a couple years ago when USC showed up, when Oregon showed up, and they come in there and they get beat. I'm not doubting Kyle Whittingham. I'm not doubting the Utes. Utah wins by 10. The over-under also hits at the over of 52, maybe 55 points somewhere in there. Utah gets it done. This is another chance for them to prove the entire country that they know what they're doing and they're a proud program and they can play football there in Salt Lake City. And now they don't care about the flashy blue, uniforms from Hollywood there in Pasadena. They're going to get rough and tumble. They're going to get it done. Utes win running away.
All right, Fresh. Well, I thought about this very, very long. I've kicked it around a few times. I think the game's going to come down to for UCLA, who's going to draw the matchup against Money Parks against the Utes. Is it going to be one of these 2 senior defensive backs? Is it going to be the freshman that's kind of making a name for himself on that defense? And the other thing I'm going to ask, the question I really need to know the answer to, La'atu. He has 4 sacks on the year. Is he able to get pressure? Does Utah have an answer for him? Do I have to keep one of my really good tight ends who's a great receiving threat? Do I need to keep him in to block and have an extra blocker? Do I need to have the running back chip? If Cameron Rising's not playing in this football game and they're going to go Johnson again, is he able to read that defensive pressure and to avoid it when it's barreling down on him? Fresh, I love Utah. And I love Kyle Whittingham. I think he's one of the best coaches and don't think he gets enough credit because of how much he develops his football players. Utah always has a team that's ready to play. Chip Kelly is a great college coach as well. He gets a bad knock for what he did in the NFL, but the guy's been a great college head coach. Whether it was at Oregon, whether it was at Delaware, whether it was at UCLA. Dante Moore's looked really good. If the Utah defense can confuse more, I think that this easily comes in on the under. I don't think that they'll score the over in this one if Utah's defense can confuse him. But all good things must come to an end. Utah's starting to show cracks in their armor. They're not running the ball as well as they have in years past. There's certain times where I'm like, it's not that great. In the 2 games, I'm not counting the Weber State game. I'm counting just the Florida game. I'm counting the Baylor game. They're 25% on 3rd down. Utah is 6 for 24. That number right there is what's keeping Kyle Whittingham up at night. They have to be better on 3rd down. You cannot give the ball back to UCLA's offense over and over and over again. If UCLA gets you into third down and you're only converting those to 25% of the time, watch out. UCLA could win this game going away. They have the horses, they have the speed, they have the ability to do that. It's really, really tough for me to pick against Utah. It's really, really tough. I got UCLA winning this game, pulling the upset in a nail biter. Down, I'm going to say they're going to be needing a last second field goal in this game. I think that RJ Lopez is going to gear up for like a 45-yarder as time expires, something along those lines. Give me UCLA by a point in this game. I think this is really going to be a close one. And I'm going to say this. I'll take the over as well. I think the over is going to come in right around the 52-53 mark as well. I think this is going to be close, but I think UCLA pulls the upset and the over comes in.
So are you saying this is the downfall, the beginning of the end for the Utah program?
I'm not saying it's the downfall because I think that they really need Cam Rising back. If you were able to confirm Cam Rising is playing in this game, and I don't have that confirmation. I've been looking for it everywhere, trying to get an injury update on. If he was playing in this game, I'd change my pick. Utah wins this game. I'd say Utah end that 4.5 points. Cam Rising is a huge difference maker for me. Dante Moore is huge because when you have young kid versus young kid, I'm going to take the running game because I think UCLA's running game is a little bit better than Utah's right now. But if I go Dante Moore versus Cam Rising, I'll take the experienced quarterback over a running game. That's really where I get caught up in this whole thing.
That works. That makes sense.
Yeah. All right.